Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's a late start, but this is the first time we've had a full schedule, I think, since week 2, if I'm not mistaken, because they did do a weird thing with the Monday Night Football schedule. They still had Monday Night doubleheaders around week 4, when it used to be just a 1 week thing. There's been a couple years, I think they did it the first 2 weeks, and then they went back to a regular schedule. I looked ahead for the rest of the season. It goes back to 11 games for the next couple of weeks, and then the last week of the season, they're waiting to see what they'll flex and move around for, pre-playoff matchups and divisional matchups and all that other stuff. So this one right here is a doozy. It's going to take a little long to process and, set up and figure things out. But I like what I see so far now that I really got a deep dive into it. So I'm definitely going to be releasing possibly 2 episodes a day. There's a possibility that I could do 2. I'm definitely doing 2 today, and then maybe all the rest of the 3 remaining videos tomorrow being running backs, wide receivers, and then the tight end defense video. But let's get right into this first. I'm your boy, Grade A Fantasy. Welcome to the Week 15 FanDuel preview of my top plays and picks at quarterback. So let's get right into it. Coming off a great game, he was definitely going to get pushed. He was my most over quarterback last week. It was Josh Allen. Oh, speaking of last week, man, I hope for you Galaxy Brain people that did a mini stack of that Cleveland game, man, oh man, congrats to you on that. You just had to make sure you had the other pieces right. What was funny was in the $3, I did look it up back in my history, and all they had was a piece of that game. So the person who took down the 20,000, I forgot the person's name, but they had a unique strategy. Instead of paying up at running back, they paid down at running back. Like I said, last week he was my favorite at the $6,500 limit, which is Harvey. Obviously, we found out that you needed Pollard at $5,800. So he went with Allen, ran it back with Higgins. Another key piece was having Puka, and then he paid down at running back. The $20,000 first place had these 3 running backs, if I'm not mistaken: Pollard, Harvey, and Aaron Jones. And then it was just the rest of the lineup right there. I forgot what defense he had. So he didn't even have pieces of a mini stack of that game. That just shows you the difference of the contest that you're in. Most likely in the millie, you had Shador, Pollard with Fannin or something like that. But in the $3.20K contest last week, he paid down at running back, which benefited him well. Harvey was one of my favorite picks. He smashed for his $6,500 price. We all know what Pollard did. And Aaron Jones was just salary relief that did well enough for his particular lineup in a particular contest for him to take it solely. He didn't tire anything. Like I said, paying down at running back, he was able to get Puka, Higgins, who wasn't cheap. He was regular price. Higgins was high 7s, Puka, and he fit in Josh Allen. I just forgot what he had at tight end and defense and what the other wide receiver position was, but that just shows you how it is. But segue into Josh Allen. Do I like Josh Allen this week as much as I loved him last week? No, I do not. New England is a defense, is a division rival, and is a defense that I think could slow down Josh Allen. Like I said, I don't think you're going to possibly get the 30-something upside that you can get. It's weird. Josh Allen's price has gone, fluctuated. I would think he would have stayed at 96, maybe only dropped 100, maybe to 95. But it was a few weeks ago, he was 92, 93. He was 96 for the Cincinnati game, and then he drops 400. So when it comes to Josh Allen himself, a $400 discount or a $300 discount, as I say, 9,300 from 96 from last week. So, other pieces of the slate are priced up, but still in the player pool. Josh Allen has to be in the player pool. I just don't love him as much as this week. If there's a pay up that I like, the only pay up option that I like that's above, well, I can't really say that. There's a couple of pay ups, but when it comes to this upper echelon in pricing, when you're around the 9,000, it's Jalen Hurts, because I think they're due for a bounce back game. And when you're due for a bounce back game with a bad defense like the Raiders, I just think the only thing that will slow Hurts down is if it's a Barkley kind of game where he's not getting many TD passes, and maybe he does a tush push, which helps him get a full 6-point TD. But that's the only thing. Only game script could pretty much hurt Jalen Hurts in this matchup. As we go down, like I said, Mahomes is there, but like I said, I'm telling you what my top plays are because that Chargers defense is something to be reckoned with. I love Joe Burrow. Quick turnaround rematch from Thanksgiving. This time he's at home against Baltimore. I love him for 8,400. That game definitely has a decent total. Stafford and the Rams. Let me tell you something. Both Stafford and Goff will be in the player pool. The game is set at 55.5. I have a feeling, and I think this is right, if this was in Detroit, even though these are in two stadiums that are indoors and protected from the weather, just because of the narrative of how well the Lions play at home, these two teams together, even though, yes, the Rams defense is good, if there's anything that the Rams could do that could possibly slow them down, then yes, this game probably, falling way under any total is bad. But if the Rams defense gets back to mid-season form, this 55 could be like a 48 or 49, which isn't bad at all. Who's sneezing at a 49 total? There's still a lot of fantasy points. But I really think this would have been set at 56, 57 if the Lions were at home. Because this is 55.5 on the road for the Lions. And these are still two great quarterbacks. Great wide receiving calls by both. Fully healthy. Even though, Amon Ross toughing out ankle injury. Who knows what 100% is, but he's well enough to play. What these guys can do this week, both Stafford and Goff, a few hundred away from each other, 79 and 83. Definitely are big plays in my book. I love Drake May against Buffalo. The only thing I can say from a passing standpoint, he'll be able to pitch underneath with his wide receivers, maybe some screen passes. Buffalo has always had athletic linebackers, so a big downgrade to Hunter Henry in the flat, but I definitely like Drake May with his mobility to also scramble as well. They got to be playing with some desperation, so hopefully they won't scramble some more. I'll mention him, but don't love him at Cincinnati at 82. Jaden Daniels, I like him because it's against the Giants, but I was really hoping he'll sit out. And like Washington, it was Washington and 4 or 5 other teams, excuse me, that became mathematically or just officially eliminated from the playoffs. Once that happened, I thought that was one of those things where okay, sit Jalen down for the week, since Jaden down for the rest of the year. But still, basically, technically a month of football. You still got this week, 2 more weeks, and then remember, it's an 18-game schedule, so now the regular season is over in New Year's. So, I don't know. Like I said, if anything pops up, that's still something. He's trending to play. There's not a definite that he'll play. But I would love to have had Mariota against the Giants. That's just me in particular. Didn't mean for that to happen. But that's what I really wanted. When it comes down to top plays, I love Jackson Dart against a suspect and a very weak New York Giants defense. And to be honest, I love Jackson Dart 3 ways. Jackson Dart solo, Jackson Dart, and I don't think Galaxy Brain is Jackson Dart +2. Wandale, and for this one, I like Wandale and then Theo Johnson. That's the way I'm gonna constantly change up. He's definitely one of my favorite plays. I think because of the defenses, this is a sneaky game that could get to 50. The Giants and Commanders are set for a 46.5 total, but with 2 bad defenses, neither one of these teams with nothing to play for. I really think this is a sneaky 50 right here. This is one of those, I just have a hunch that I like the way the game script is. It should just be regularly cold in New York. Should be no weather concerns of rain or snow or anything like that this weekend. So, and the Giants normally play a day game, so the weather should be slightly better than what it would be on a winter night when the sun goes down. So, I definitely like this game in general. I will still get the Jaden Daniels. I was just more hyped to have Mariota on the center for the cheaper stack. Brock Purdy against Tennessee, enough said. He'll be comfortable enough to get it to Jennings, Kittle, and McCaffrey. Probably the top cash play of the day. For those who want Jacoby Brissett, good luck with you. If there's one thing I did tell you, I'm telling you this right now, I'm telling you again. The Houston Texans have the best defense in the league. It is not the Denver Broncos. good luck picking them. I don't care if everybody's healthy. I will be fading Brissett. He's not one of my quarterbacks. I'll be getting to a lot more Sam Darnold. I'll be getting to a lot more Trevor Lawrence this week against the Jets. Consistently playing well. Sam Darnold. Here's the thing with the Indy game. And here's why, for the first time, even though it's not the wide receiver preview, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is 10,000, I think I'm willing to break what I feel is the $10,000 curse. Sauce Gardner still dealing with a calf 2 weeks ago. It's not an Achilles injury, but when asked, the coach Steichen did say, hey, it's not an Achilles. We don't plan on placing him on IR, but he will miss some time. I don't think the way I think people are now seeing more and more calf injuries relate to Achilles injuries, I say Sauce sits out for one more week. On top of that, news broke, Charvarius Ward, that's their decent set of cornerbacks. So if Charvarius Ward just went on IR because that's his second concussion in 3 weeks, plus he was feeling post-concussion syndrome on the flight home, the top two cornerbacks will be out, most likely, against Jackson Smith and Jigba. Indianapolis has pieces of a good defense, but as a whole, they're not a great defense. You need your best to go against Jackson Smith and Jigba. Your number one and number two most likely be out. If Sauce is there, he'll most likely be limited. I think Sauce is going to be ruled out. That's just me. If he's going to miss some time with a bad calf and you need to make the playoffs, you might want to try your best to do it here and give him as much rest as possible because you still got 3 games left towards the season. You started off well, so you still have a cushion. It's not like this week pushes you all the way out because I think the Colts still have the division, and even if they lose, they still drop into the wild card with the great start that they had. I say Sauce stays off. Charvarius Ward is on IR. So I think they're all viable. Galaxy brain stuff with Sam Darnold, you might even be able to double him up with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp played well pretty much last week. And as we get down here, yes, the budget QBs, pay downs. Tyler Shuck, CJ Stroud, 7,069. Like I said, with CJ Stroud, I got no issue attacking a bad Arizona defense. Never have, never will. Tyler Shuck getting better and better. Now scrambling more. And he has Carolina. So I definitely like that there. You never know, every now and then. Could this be one of the 3 times? Because I think he's done it twice this week. Could this be the 3rd time that Carolina and a Bryce Young kind of stack on the road go against New Orleans? You know, and if you've been following this channel, you know how much I love New Orleans at home as a defense. So I will not be getting the Bryce Young. It's just something that I process or whatever. There's just certain things that I know I like and I know I'm going to fade. Like I said, if Mariota becomes the quarterback, he becomes my favorite play. And like I said, another young up-and-coming quarterback, not the most challenging defense. Does Shador keep the hot streak at Chicago? This time, it's one thing to be on somewhat of a big stage that just developed. I mean, he's not the man now. Let's not put all that pressure on him. But he's showing why he should be around for the future. Against Chicago shouldn't be that bad. It's just a case of how he reads the defenses. But that is the end of my vid for my top plays at QB. Running back video will be out later today. Excuse me. So if we go back, let's start back from the top. And if we start back from the top, when it comes to the pay-ups, even though I did mention Josh Allen, my favorite pay-ups for this slate is Jalen Hurts, Burrow, and Stafford. Favorite pay-ups. As we get to the mid-range for your regular price QBs, 79 and down, definitely love Golf. Jackson Dart's my favorite in this range. Purdy's my second favorite in this range. And then you got Sam Darnold. And then you got Sam Darnold and Lawrence. And as we get to the paydowns, Shuck, Stroud, and Shador in that order. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy. A lot of teams to research, so that's why we started late. Plus, I've been a little bit busy on the NHL streets. Now that we got a decent sample size of games, most of these teams are in between, I keep saying 20, but I think they're in between 22 and 25 games mostly now. And we're getting consistent scheduling with a 3-day Christmas break and then the Olympic break, so it's kind of a compressed schedule. So been busy with that as well. But that is the end of my QB preview. And hopefully, with me saying that, I'll be getting right back at the grade A power plays pretty soon. But thank you for tuning in. Once again, this your boy, Grade A Fantasy. Top plays and picks at the quarterback position for Week 15 video. Running backs will be out later today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm signing off.